Every day that we have stations in our classroom, our students are given a schedule that has the stations that they need to go to, but the directions aren't on there, so they'll need to use the classroom website to find out the directions for their station. So here you can see Nakul using our classroom Mimeo to read what he needs to do for the math facts station. Then we get over to Kylie, who's doing an inquiry project. She's typing into Google a question that she has that she'd like to research. Students are encouraged to choose a topic of any sort that they're interested in. It doesn't have to be related to our curriculum. And just type it into a Google search. And we've taught our students to stay away from certain types of websites. So this is a good practice of trying to figure out which websites are valuable and which ones they should avoid. As we move on, we can see a group that's working on reading just a book. They're doing a novel study of some sort. Here, Nakul has gotten to his iPad, where he's going to practice some math facts. He's practicing his multiplication facts. Everybody starts at level 1 each day, but it's just, one digit times one digit multiplication, and they continue to move on as they increase. It gets harder. Here's another group of students who are working on a novel study. They've decided to read Corner of the Universe. They were given 3 or 4 book choices, and they were allowed to come up with the book that they wanted based on whichever method they enjoyed choosing. Here are boys reading a book as well from their own selection. They were given 3 or 4 choices as well. Notice the computer's there for looking up anything that they are confused about. There's also a dictionary for any kinds of words that they don't understand. Students are encouraged to always try to find out answers to their questions. Here we've got some students in guided reading. Today, since I'm videotaping, it's self-guided by the computer, but they can have the computer read it to them out loud. So I've got it hooked up. It's a Treasures guided reader, leveled reader, and it actually connects with our science curriculum at the moment because we're studying weather. So these students are listening to the story. They're also going to be working on a cause and effect worksheet during the next 15 minutes of this section. Then we just go back to the lit circles or the novel study.
Good when it comes to she has the wrench and scares. I got like that's why they're so huge.
Discussions are an important part of novel study. I encourage them to talk just like adults would talk in a book study of their own. So the students, they at first, of course, start to feel like they're off task, but realize the importance of it as they read more books. Every 15 minutes, the timer goes off. That signals the end of one rotation. Most kids have 2 rotations in a row doing the same sorts of things, but this is after the second rotation today, so you can see that the novel study groups are packing up. Anybody who's at an inquiry station or some of the other groups are packing up as well. Theirs is just 1 rotation each. Some students were coming into the classroom from the pullouts. Other students might leave the classroom to go do their own RTI groups. You can see students, the students in the foreground at least, are still continuing to work on guided reading because that's a 3 rotation station. And you can see it's not too chaotic, especially for our first day. Most children know what they're doing because they have their schedule in front of them. Even though they're all doing different things, they generally know what to do just through the directions on the schedule.
Mr. Solar.
Right now it's iPad.
Mr. Solar.
He's sweet as the math one.
We read more in this. I feel like we got farther in this than we did with literature. Because there's 2 people from my group that are reading the book. So in that we can talk about ways to improve. Sarah, what are you on?
You're not processing, sweetie. So press play. What was my direction?
We weren't supposed to write anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to brainstorm 10 stories.
Up to 10 stories, yeah.
What is this?
Okay. So, what?
Mr. Solar, is this guiding reading group?
Where does yours say?
Yeah, because we're at guiding reading group. Me and Matt.
Yeah, you're with me at the Mr. Solar station.
I have to do Mr. Solar, so should I just get a computer and just start presentation? Let's get a computer.
We gotta pick one of those. So.
Okay, we just get to write down stories.
You each have to have your own list because you're going to be writing your own stories.
10 stories.
Yeah, I think on that one too. You want top math, right? Sorry. Yeah, I just did it. Okay, so this
Although students seem to be asking a lot of questions today, it is the first day. Typically, after they've done it a few times, they know what they're doing and don't need to ask all these questions to make sure they're right. Yeah, and I said, you won't get that today. Today's the brainstorming day, so you have to come up with your list. Remember, we don't start writing today.
This isn't new, maybe. You gotta help me. Hey, you want to guess it?
One positive aspect of stations is that it really encourages students to help each other. Collaboration is a very important 21st century skill. So, they know to ask each other and they know to help each other even without being asked in the first place. Here, a good example is Abby just sitting down with the boys who had just joined them. Abby's already started guided reading, so she knows how to show the boys how to start, and they're appreciating her help.
You can write about like a vacation or something.
And do you guys know that you can all do your own individual stories?
Yeah.
You won't have to agree on any. Yep, no, that's okay, as long as you know you're not
/vacation.
writing the same story.
You said you get to write about whatever.
Here, Mallory is working on a CTAC packet. CTAC stands for the Choice Time Activity Center. These packets are designed to either give students extra practice in something that they're needing extra support in, or it's allowed to enrich them and provide extra challenge. Nakul's getting to work on a silent reading, a novel of his choice, which he appreciates. And then over here we have Caroline doing an inquiry project. She looks like she's researching pandas. I've taught my students to research what we call fact questions, which are questions that don't really have an easy answer, but they're allowed to research anything that makes them happy. Here, Rhett is doing Writer's Workshop. The first 2 periods of Writer's Workshop are to brainstorm project ideas and then to come up with a timeline of events, which he's done. Did you figure out your other characters yet?
What?
I know you've got the main character. Do you know the
Yeah,
other
I
characters
have
yet?
the banana named Protein.
Okay.
The banana named Protein.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
And the caveman.
Caveman. Okay.
See mine?
Yes, please.
He was born July 2005. This is the evil platypus named Platinum.
Okay. And what is he going to do? What's his goal for this story?
To make every animal except platypi illegal.
Okay. Here some students are working on a timed writing piece. They get 15 minutes, or the rotation time, to write an entire page at least of a story. I give them the story starter, usually a sentence or 2, and then they continue to write, hopefully finishing a full page before the 15 minutes are up. This tries to build their writing endurance and make them stronger writers in the end. Then here we have Kylie doing a Mad Lib, and we had just studied all the parts of speech, so I just like to check over their use of parts of speech, make sure that they're doing it correctly. They seem to have fun doing it. They can work on this alone or with a partner, and it's good practice for grammar. So Mallory, what are you working on, sweetie? Inquiry?
Yeah.
What topic did you choose?
Why elephants are so big.
That's right. And you were saying before you wanted to know why pigs are pink, right?
Yeah.
As we look at Mallory's notes, we can see that originally she spelled elephants with an F on the Google search, but now she's spelling it correctly. Perhaps this was a natural way of correcting her spelling.
Are you going to go to a different math thing?
Not during the 15-minute math practice.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So what could I do after I write down my characters' names and stuff like that?
So what other planning can you do? Because we're not going to start drafting today.
Make a more involved timeline.
Okay. Do you want to describe your characters too, or do you want to?
Describe.
Okay. Do you want to describe physical?
Describe their looks.
I was going to say looks too. Yeah, not just their personality. Can I peek?
Now I'm going to do their looks.
Adjective, smart, verb ending in ing, running. Interesting, adjective. And verb smartly. Alright. So now that I noticed that she wrote smartly for an adverb, it might be nice to review adverbs with my class, or at least get an adverbs list for my students so that they have a better selection of words to choose from. Do you feel like you guys are ready to draft the next period you have for Writer's Workshop?
Yeah.
Okay. Here in Writer's Workshop, students are working as a writing circle, which allows collaboration in the writing process. Yeah.
Would the mammatus be that important that I had to draw it?
I think they're just labeling that part of the cloud, but I don't think that that's necessarily something you have to know.
And then the anvil, is that just
We taught you that was like the top flat part, right?
Yeah.
I'm a squirt.
Yeah. Let's see. Holy cow, that was fast and really good. Nice job. You got 5 seconds, no mistakes, but it's on level 28. I know, that's great.
It's time to transition to regimental.
You know, stations end at the end of the day, and we do Regimental, which is the end of the day routine for us. And they put all their things away. The CTAC papers, CTAC packets go here, along with their schedules, which we'll use again the next day of stations this week. So, kiddos, where are you keeping your schedules? Keep them in your CTAC bin, please. Thank you.
Should I turn off the screen?
Sure. You want to just mute it? Actually, you could probably turn it off at the end of the day.
Keep this.
Yep. You need it for the next Writer's Workshop. Yeah. You got to do it once and then twice. Yep. Although someone in our classroom does have the job of making sure all the iPads and computers are plugged back in at the end of the day, students learn responsibility and do it on their own.